All right, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm going to rant just a little bit here about story stocks. A lot of this was from some of the content I've been doing around with stock twits and trade the pools and others. And just seeing people, some of the people getting hit a little bit for the first time when it came to story stocks. So I just want to chat a little bit about what these are and what to look for and how to play them and try to figure out a way that I can make your guys' life better if you're someone that trades these things. Now, the beauty of what we do over Sets at Trading, if you want to come give it a shot, is everything is algorithmically based, entries, exits, all of that stuff is completely handled, right? All I'm doing is intraday looking at are the market conditions right to take a buy? Does the stock look like it's holding the area that we want it to hold? Simple stuff like that. But if you're somebody who's doing this more discretionary and you're trading these story stocks, then there are some things that you got to watch out for. So a lot of people got big into these quantum computing names, and we're gonna pick on these ones. But this has happened recently with drones, at space, robotics. There's been a lot of these stories going around. Now, what's the difference between kind of a story stock and a new trend? And I think the main thing is where it exists inside of the chart itself. Now, if you look at something like this, you look at this stock and you say, man, this QSI went from 64 cents to $5. That's a 10 bagger. That's amazing. Right? You put in 10 grand, you get 100 grand out. That's an amazing return. Take a 10 bagger anytime I can get it. What a great trade. Now, however, you got to look at how this occurred, right? You have a little bit of gap up and some craziness, and then it sells off. And you get a little bit of spike, and then it sells off. And then you get a little bit of spike, and it sells off. So, what is this chart showing us? And look, and more, the big thing I want you to focus on is the depths of the pullbacks. How deep are the pullbacks for each one? Now, what it's saying is that when you get these momentum spikes, everybody's getting involved. The story's hot. People are buying in. Things are super, super interesting. Boom, all of a sudden they're gone. And you have 5, 6, 7, 8 days a row, all the way to selling back down. And you have another spike right here. And then you have one guy, Jensen from NVIDIA, saying that he thinks that quantum computing is like 10, 15 years away. And the name gets cut in half the next day. It goes from $5 down to 250. And you can see the same thing with INOQ, I think. INOA. Never mind. Let's just go QSI because I know that one. Um, and it's continuing to sell. So for me, I kind of look at this as saying these are not vehicles that you really want to take long-term bets on. Anything more than a couple days, you're buying a pullback, you're looking for a bounce, you're trading at momentum intraday. And then what's the reason that I say that? Let's zoom out on this guy. Let's zoom out just a little bit here. Nothing crazy. Let's go to a weekly chart and then zoom out. So this was, you see every single pop we can track on this. So we have pop right here and then it's sold. And then we have a pop right here and then it's sold. And we had a pop right here, then it's sold. It's very easy to look at the history of this chart and say, this is a name that every time it pops, someone's there to sell it. And then what else occurs when this happens? Well, this stock had a high of, let's say, $30. And then it went down to what we talked about, like 50 cents. Well, we've all done this before where we've bought a stock and we said, hey, the thing drops and we go, if I can get back to even, if I can only get back to even, then I'm going to get involved in this name. If I get back to even, I'm going to sell and I'm going to get out. I'm going to get involved with my selling. I'm going to sell aggressively. I'm going to move on. We've all said that to ourselves. We all know we shouldn't, right? If you're saying that, you should probably just get out of the position right where it is. But what happens is, again, we get these spikes. And we had another one way back here where it went from $1.70 up to $4, another 5x return on it, and then sold back down. And why do we think it's different this time? Well, most people don't, right? Most people know that these are story stocks and they have to be traded in this kind of momentum way. If you're going to bet that that was the absolute bottom on these quantum computers and they're going to go to the moon, good for you. And you might be right. This is just something that I've noticed over time. You have these spikes and then you have these crashes. Let's go to ARCAT. And ARCAT is a drone maker, which is a little bit better than what we saw before, but not 5 minutes daily. It's doing the same thing. Takes this really big pump and then kind of falls apart. Now, this one maybe digs in and moves higher. Who knows? But these stocks are all happening the same way. And you notice things like these companies don't make money. There's negative 18 cents a share, negative 9 cents a share. negative 8 cents a share. So these companies, A, don't make money. So what people are betting on is they're betting on the fact that these will make money in the future. Drone companies make way more sense that they can make money in the future than quantum computing companies, which is like an unproven thing that we're just trying to be able to figure out now. So again, how do you identify that this is a story stock? Just all the momentum, the spikes in momentum, and then the selling back off, and then the spikes in momentum, the selling's back off. What's happening is this is making its rounds, and it's getting into a Discord room, or it's getting into a server or something, and someone's saying, "Hey, let's talk about this name." A news event hits, you get a big spike. The question on every time you see a stock spike is, how does it correct? If it corrects all the way back down, it means that everybody who bought was looking to sell. You have shorts that are looking to hammer it back down. Everybody just wants away from it. They want to move on. They want to go to something else. If the pullbacks are shallow and then they come in, that means buyers want to come in at a higher price. And a good example for this, just top of the head, is Nvidia. And this is kind of what I was talking about here when I was on that stock Twitch show. Is that Nvidia, you look that it spikes, and then the pullback is not much of the spike at all. This is why I think things like Fibonacci work for some people, because the idea is with Fibonacci, if the thing pulls down too deep, then you want to avoid it. It's the same thing. It means that everybody who missed this move from $40 up to $100, well, when it pulled back into 75 bucks or so, they say, "Oh, great, right? I want to buy it here because I think it's going to double again." And that pullback becomes very, very shallow. Short sellers are quick to take their profits. People that are looking to buy in are quick to get in, because as opposed to being worried that the thing is going to go to zero, like they are with QSI, they are worried that the thing isn't going to give them enough of a pullback to get involved if they look for a bigger move. They just want a shallow pullback and then rip, and then a shallow pullback and then rip. And that's what you want to see, is either your stock correcting sideways for a period of time, or shallow pullbacks. If the pullbacks retrace the entire push higher, then you're probably in a story name. It's probably not something that you want to look at too much. So that's just a little bit of a rant I had, because I just did a hour with stock twits, and a lot of these questions were about these names, and I could almost feel that people got a little bit hurt playing them. So I hope just looking at the kind of characteristic of the chart and how it's working can help. Now, if quantum computings or one of these names are going to be the next big thing and it's going to take over the world, you're not going to need to buy the 60-cent stock and have it go to $6, right? It's okay to buy the stock that's been uptrending a while, and you're still going to have tons of time to make a whole lot of money if the story is true. So let the chart confirm the story. And again, if they're giving back the whole momentum spike every time, then you're probably in a story stock. You're probably not in something that's going to be a great long-term trade.